Hi there, welcome back to the Noah Presgrove case, looking at the latest news and discussions on the matter. Today, we're going to be doing a catch up on the Facebook page just to see where discussions are at, any interesting questions, developments, new pieces of information. That's what I'm here for. Shout out to the Noah Presgrove's Army page. Whilst there are a couple of toxic people within secretly who've aimed digs at me, Warlike Wrath, I'm still here. I'm still covering. See, this is the thing. I'll give you a bit of an acknowledgement afterwards, or maybe in a separate video when it comes to my mindset on how I deal with resistance. So be on the lookout for that. But welcome to anyone who is currently here, right? We are on a moving screen. It's not a still screenshot. Don't worry about that. Whilst we go throughout this live premiere, be sure to let me know your thoughts down below, your opinions, reactions, discussions in the live chat box. Right hand side of the screen, and at any point you want to react, elaborate on points, got any questions, watching on catch up, whatever, leave all your thoughts down below under this video, because the engagement does help spread awareness of these videos and more importantly the case itself. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Last night, wow, back-to-back videos all over the place from one other different case looking at dark sides, dark reality, to obviously Noah Presgrove itself, and a hidden potential relationship between the likes of Noah and another party goer, whether it links at the time or not. I did do coverage. There is supposedly photo proof to suggest it and reinforce a hidden relationship at some point. If you'd like to check all that out, it's available on my channel, uploaded as of yesterday. Top right corner of the screen right now, where you see that eye symbol, hover over it, click on it, and you'll see the drop down box to those videos. If you haven't seen them, make sure to catch up on them when you do get time. There'll also be a playlist as well with all the videos collected which have been created by me to do with this case. And it'll be in an appropriate order as well. So, a range of stuff. If you do want to support this channel, for example, there is a link down below in the comment section, pinned, with alternative ways to do so. And of course, shout out to anyone that does or has supported this channel recently. Much appreciated. And yeah, I think without further ado, let's just get straight into it. Unfortunately, I can't, change the filters on here this time around, which is a bit dodgy. Don't know why it won't let me in terms of the dates of things. It's most relevant, but I would have preferred most recent post. But nevertheless, some new ones do pop up here and there. I'm going to read through them, analyse if necessary, give my thoughts and opinions where I can, and see what people have to say in the comments. Now, don't worry, we're not going to be clicking on this one immediately. 268 comments. I don't think so. That's going to take up an entire video itself, right? And, some people could figure out, what's the purpose of this? Well, it's to catch up, right? You don't want to be left behind. Other people may not see it from the perspective of this page because not everybody has Facebook. Not everybody wants Facebook. Not everyone might be able to join this, I think, private group or whatever it is. So, I've got permission to share it with you, of course, there's no issues there. But I can provide you the perspective of something you normally may not be able to see or not have access to. And I think there's no harm in that. And it can help make me learn on the spot actively. And if you do have any questions, they might even be answered within this video. You never know. So what do we have here? Great question. Why was social media, videos, pictures and a few phones factory reset between 3 a.m. and 3:15 a.m, yet they claimed he went missing and wasn't found until around 5 a.m? So why did they delete everything before his body was even found? And why delete everything if just a hit and run like they claim? Right, hold on. Yet they claimed he went missing and wasn't found until around 5 a.m. Right, how do I understand this? I'm just trying to process it. 5 a.m, found around 5 a.m. Is this to do with Jack Newton? And then at 5:15, 15 minutes later, returning back to the house on Monday morning to alert people that Noah's dead. I'm assuming that's what we're talking about here, because we can't get muddled up with what Sarah Long supposedly said by passing it on to Jasmine Milan on Facebook, and Jasmine Milan kind of confirming that in her follow-up in November of 2023 with that Snapchat post update, which was actually captioned on Facebook as an overlay, where she was saying how we weren't to know what was going to happen. We loved Noah. We didn't cause it. and also mentioning how it was so normal for Noah to wander off and then return back later. And Sarah Long added in for what we saw recently, which I think was posted quite some time ago, but Sarah Long was just backing Jasmine up, saying about how, Noah, he wandered off, didn't he, the night before, and some of you found him and returned him back to the party. That must be a standalone event, because what we're referring to here, I'm assuming, is the final time he went missing and didn't return back, left on foot because he didn't have his own vehicle at the time. Why was social media, videos, pictures, and a few phones factory reset at the time of 3 a.m. to 3:15? Okay. Now, me personally, I didn't know exactly what was factory reset and the proof of that happening and the time of it, but Justin Roy appears to know more. Fair enough. I'm going to say, on the basis that what's said here is true, and it follows in between 3 a.m. and 3:15 a.m., specifically around that time, 15-minute time difference, that is quite interesting. Why that time? Because why would you need to delete anything when the party's still ongoing and there's no room for concern, there's no trouble, nothing's come out yet? You don't need to hide your tracks. You only tend to hide and cover up your tracks post news of it coming out that Noah's body has been found. And if you've been responsible, it's like, oh shit, we best delete all this now before anyone else catches on. Or it might not even be post news of hearing about the death of Noah by whoever. It could be post death of Noah outright. Okay, we've done what we've done, or accident or not. Quick, we need to clean up after one another. We need to get rid of this quick. We need to delete this, delete that before anyone finds it. I mean, what's the point of deleting some post, some media, and then other remnants remain public? Is that just to say, hey, look, we've got some of the party documented, nothing to see here, it's all happy, all nice? I wonder. Now, there was a few counterpoints, and fair enough, some people on my channel recently, the odd one, that's all, were saying how, well, when I've gone on Facebook, I can see that post, I can see this post. When I go on Jasmine Millan's, or when I look for Jasmine Millan, I can see her Snapchat post. It wasn't deleted. And then I'm like, So, this is the thing. Some things may be reposted by other people, and it might give off that illusion that it was never deleted, but it may have been archived by somebody else in between. There's that. But if it's coming directly from the horse's mouth and it still remains on one of their profiles, then they're not hiding it, right? But what about the original post without the context? Unfortunately, I forgot to ask that question at the time. So like with Jasmine Millan, her Snapchat post may have been deleted afterwards, or it could have been one of those which is temporary. See, this thing, when it comes to technology, it could be interpreted that something was deleted, but it was only a timed message, a timed photo in which within a 15, 20-minute period, you could view it, but then after that, it would vanish. This is the thing, when it comes to Snapchat specifically, you can send messages, you can send photos and videos to someone privately, and they've only got a certain time frame to be able to access that stuff. And then once it's posted and once it's viewed, it disappears afterwards. A little bit similar to Instagram, where you could be in a DM with somebody, you show a photo of some chicken drumsticks, and then 10, 20 minutes later after they've viewed that photo, you can't click on it anymore. It's like temporary, but you can get a screenshot of it when viewing it for the first and only time. And maybe that's what some people did to archive it. But take in mind, I think with certain platforms such as Snapchat, if you used to access some media or sensitive footage which someone may have shared with you, as you know, it could be a bit dodgy, might all kinds of dodgy things going on within that video or photo. And if someone was to screenshot it, I think it notifies the other user that they've taken a screenshot, right? That might be like a little safety measure, because built into Snapchat, you could share some private information or some sensitive, dodgy photos, and the next thing you know, that person's got the screenshot, the photos disappear and vanish, but you've got it archived with a still shot, and you could do anything with it, and then that would backfire on the other individual. So there is that, okay? Does it directly link with this here? Some of the party footage maybe. Does it link to Jasmine Millan? Yeah, possibly. I mean, was it a public Snapchat post or is it a group private Snapchat post? Nevertheless, they can disappear, they can fade. But for it to be reposted, basically, on Facebook with a caption going over it, she must have had it saved to a device somehow, somewhere, or she was able to retrieve it after from Snapchat, I'm thinking. So yeah, maybe Jasmine Milan still has her party post on Facebook about, oh, well, Noah's missing, 3:41 a.m. in the morning of Monday, September 4th, 2023. Yeah, but is it the original without the caption over it, which was posted in November time? You get what I'm saying? So it tells me it might just be the edited one and that's remained up just for the context so no one misunderstands it. And when anyone does refer back to it, they'll see the caption and how it's explained afterwards. But does what I say explain all the other social media and posts and photos by the other party goers? Not really. Do we have full-on proof to say that this person, that group did delete photos and videos? Is it a matter of 1 minute we saw it, next minute they're no longer there? When it came to the Kenny Veach case, and maybe the Dylan Rounds one as well, there was certain material, articles, stuff posted, some of which edited out afterwards, like East Idaho News. Very interesting that was at the time. But with the Kenny Veach one, creators, audience members, whoever, posting things, and then suddenly it's disappeared afterwards. It's the importance of 1 minute it's there, next minute it's not. Let's archive it as soon as possible before it disappears for good, because vital information, vital evidence, and if it's somewhat limited, you want to keep hold onto it as long and hard as possible, the grasp of it, right? But in this situation with the Noah Presgrove case, with social media and photos being posted in such a short time frame and period and then being deleted shortly afterwards, all happening the same night into the early hours of the morning, roughly around that, or just more so the early hours of the morning, posted or photos taken and then deleted afterwards. Was there anyone, and you wouldn't really expect it, you wouldn't anticipate it, but just a little question, was there anyone that accessed or viewed the profile of some of these party goers back September 4th, 2023? A friend of a friend, a stranger? Because whilst way back then, September 4th, 2023, Labour Day, whilst no one would have known of the Noah Presgrove case back then because it was in the process of it happening, and then it started to come about, and then it reached news days later, and then onwards, and then it expanded from there. But is there anybody that actually witnessed the photos, the videos, the social media posts, text, whatever they may be, on the actual day, night time of Noah's death? Not that it would be anticipated, but if you're in the right place at the right time, was anyone around to see those original posts and then witness them disappearing afterwards? Because a person like that, a witness, would be able to reinforce it from what they've seen before and after, just like me when it came to the Kenny Veach case of what I've seen before and after, like with Riley Robbins' videos and hikes disappeared, like with missing hiker Kenny Veach, who uploaded videos of his other hikes, which was a bit weird, and then afterwards completely disappeared. Kenny Veach's comment thread, the most popular one on a particular video, before he disappeared, his last few comments, that thread wiped, right? I've seen it before and after. I can give like a witness report, not in a criminal way, but just relaying what I've seen truthfully online. Can anyone else do that? Okay. And where did it come about, the beginning of knowing about social media posts and videos being deleted, right? I know I've talked about it, in fairness, but I'm not saying it with absolute confidence or certainty that I've heard it directly from the horse's mouth or I've seen pure evidence of it. I have seen elsewhere, maybe in other communities. I don't know if it be on Facebook or Reddit, but other people have been talking about how, why are people so quick to turn to this was deleted, that was deleted, where's the proof of it? All I would say is, if there was a simple link or a clear summary of the reason why social media posts were deleted by a certain set of people at a certain set time, building up or just after the death of Noah Presgrove, do we have the link, the source to it? I think that would be very helpful. Now, can I actually ask this question? Just to put it all into perspective, can I actually ask it? So based off if it's true, and it's between 3 a.m. and 3:15 a.m., how significant is that? Well, 3 a.m. is just around the time of when Kaden was about to go to sleep, as he said himself in his own statement online. So that's interesting. So 3 a.m. onwards, if Kaden is out for the count, asleep, he's not going to see, he's not going to hear things after that, which is a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. So I don't think Kaden would be able to say, oh yeah, I saw that person talking about deleting this and deleting that. No, they were asleep. But before Kaden did go asleep, he mentioned that Noah was awake, Jack was awake, and all the other party goers were awake. That's interesting. And if they're awake, then they've got the opportunity to access their phone and delete anything that they need to do. Now, in other cases, people may delete footage, photos from a party as it's winding down or getting towards the end because they're feeling, right, we can't leave any evidence behind, not in terms of a death of somebody, but just like a general situation in life as a party. You might have taken some drugs, you might have done some illegal activity, nothing extremely bad though, or drinking underage. And it's like, well, we can't have footage or photos of this because it's going to incriminate us and we could get in trouble and our parents could be angry as well. So, we've had our fun, let's delete all that now and think nothing of it. Would this time have still been before the death of Noah Presgrove or during? I guess that's the ultimate question. To say 3 a.m. to 3:15, and it's claimed that he went missing at 3:41 a.m. by the likes of Jasmine Millan and found in between or near to 4 a.m. to 5:15, because that's the situation of Jack Newton at 5:15 coming back to the party house. So before 5:15, Jack Newton was out away from the property and at the highway to come across Noah's body. What was he doing there? Was he driving home? Was he giving anyone a lift home? That's the ultimate question. We need to know why Jack was out around that time. To come across Noah's body it's kind of in the dark. For the truck driver, a passerby, much later at 5:53, nearly an hour later, to pass by it and see a body and get out, it was enough to convince them to have a closer look. Would it have been the same for Jack? Let's just say Jack was completely oblivious as to what was happening and for some reason he was leaving around 4 a.m. from the party, or even before that. It would have to be before that. Some of you might wonder, what's 4 a.m. all about? What's significant about it? Just because Jack himself in a text said that Noah passed away around 4 in the morning. Now, did Jack give that same timestamp when he made it back to the party house at 5:15 when announcing the death of Noah? Because all that was worded as said by Kaden Pressy, who was awakened, however you want to use that language. Apologies. Awoken by the presence of Jack making it back to the party house. Kaden heard it himself. Kaden checked the time himself. 5:15, alerted. So we've got a bit of consistency there. 5:15 would seem somewhat consistent by a somewhat reliable person, Kaden himself. So that's good. You need at least some stability within this case. There might be many partygoers, there might be a lot going on, but if you can just lock on to at least one person who you can trust in and that they're consistent in what they say, that's the foundations that you can lay down and work from there, work forwards or work back from whatever happened. So from 3 a.m. to 5:15, Kaden was asleep all the way through up until 5:15. Can that be 100% confirmed? Because Kaden said he went to sleep around 3 in the morning. He was woken up at 5:15, so I'm assuming that he slept all the way through that. And that's quite a big chunk of time missed due to sleep. Not his fault. He needs sleep. People need to sleep. Unfortunate there, isn't it? Because that's probably the critical time of when things did happen. Well, obviously it did, right? I mean, you could argue and say when Jack at 5:15 got back to the house to announce the death of Noah, It sounds like, oh, that's when Jack found out for the very first time, just coming across Noah's dead body. Was that entirely true? Or was it in the process of taking Noah out and then pretending to be like the one who found the body instead of the one that took the person out? Possibly, allegedly, supposedly, theory. I'm trying to use all the fancy words in the book just so people don't misunderstand me. Okay? You can let me know if you agree or disagree down below. It just goes to show that just one post and one question can open up so much in terms of discussion. And whilst maybe this needs a simple answer, I'm not able to give that just yet. Maybe never. Because you know me, when it comes to a question, I don't just say yes or no. I add on all the other factors. That's just me. But you can always answer this question. You can discuss it down below. I don't know how many actual posts we'll get through today, but these are valid points, valid questions, important and key. So on the basis of that, what's said here is true. And it occurred between 3 in the morning when Kaden was asleep, but everyone else was awake, up to 3:15. I mean, do I remember anything significant at 3:15 a.m.? Nope. I remember it being at 3:30? Yeah. 3:30 a.m. when Noah supposedly left because of that argument with best friend. Before 3:30, ATV accident, shower time, maybe. Then after shower, wanting to sleep in one of the girls' bedrooms, rejected. Noah's frustrated. Does it cause a scene? Who knows? Is it awkward? Any tension? Does Jack overhear or catch on to it? Hears it for himself firsthand. Leads to a bit of an argument. Noah's like, oh, I've had enough. I'm done here. And then decides to leave. I mean, it would have been just before 3 in the morning when Noah approached Kaden about wanting to be dropped off, taken back home, given a lift, because he didn't have his own vehicle there, and it would have been before Kaden went to sleep. So it kind of puts into perspective. I'm just going to put a point across very quickly. Something's telling me that because Noah didn't get his way or didn't get what he wanted, and he needed sleep and he wanted to relax and he was still a bit drunk, he was a bit moody, a bit frustrated, a bit agitated, and kind of not had a tantrum but started being a little bit reckless, which got on the nerves of other party goers. I know not everyone will agree with that, but I'm just trying to think of how things could have played out. So just before 3 in the morning, Noah's going about like a pinball machine asking, oh, can you give me a lift? No. Can you give me a lift? No. Carter Combs, can you give me a lift? No. And then Kaden, no, unfortunately. So after that, the only choice Noah had was to walk away from the party. But before that, did he go into that ATV and then tip it over? Or was that before Noah started asking people about having a lift back? Still a little bit uncertain, to be honest with you. But yeah, 3:30 is when he supposedly left for the last time and wasn't seen again. And then about 11 minutes later, 3:41 a.m., Jasmine Milan at the front porch outside of the building on the front of the property took the photo saying, well, Noah is missing. Would you think much of it? I mean, some people did, yeah. Some people thought she was taunting the situation. Others thought not much of it. You know, the person's probably drunk, not quite there with it, kind of joking, messing about, harmless, and then went wrong afterwards. Would there have been a way to avoid it? I don't think so, really, because final post to do with Noah, and then what happens afterwards is the death. You think, how does this link with that? And it might not, but the timing of it, maybe a bit of coincidence, wrong place, wrong time, wrong type of wording, caption doesn't fit the facial expressions of the individual in the shot. I don't know, it just makes it look a bit dodgy. But then in recent time, when we look at that supposed hidden or previous relationship between Noah and Jasmine, very close, intimate, kissing, tattoo on her. It seems like Jasmine thinks a lot about Noah and cares for him, or did at a certain point. So it seems less likely that she was responsible. But if she did delete her post, such as on Snapchat, and it was interpreted and it was true that it was deleted and not a temporary post, you could say, is she hiding, covering something up? Unless she was just getting rid of it because she thought it was bad taste or it just made things look dodgy, even though there's nothing wrong going on. But I'm thinking about it. It's like the Kenny Veach days where you had Lenny Kilmister, that default profile on YouTube, that said to Kenny Veach before he actually went missing, don't go back out there because if you do, you won't come back. And obviously Kenny didn't come back, he went missing. And then people all jumped to the bandwagon and said, well, because that person said you won't come back, that person issued a threat, and that person's responsible for the death and disappearance of Kenny Veach. The end. There wasn't enough proof. I think it was just a prank gone wrong, messing about, being a bit loose and light-hearted. Got more than what they bargained for. Is that what happened to Jasmine Milan? Got more than what she bargained for? Well, guess Noah's missing. He's missing out. Completely oblivious as to what actually happened. But then you got the counterpoint to say that, well, because she was on the front, at the front porch, she would have seen the shed to the right if that was in use. She would have seen the driveway and the entrance and exit point if someone was to approach the property or leave. And if Noah was leaving 11 minutes before and Jasmine Milan was outside on the front porch at that time, she would have heard things. But we don't know for certain if she was out on the front porch, front of the driveway, 11 minutes before, when at the time of Noah supposedly leaving the property. Just a 10-11 minute time difference can go a long way, especially because you think of the darkness around. You got someone there right in front of you, the walk away, and then the fade into the darkness, and it gets harder to see them. Yeah, you got lights on at the property, inside, outside, that street lamp, the lights underneath that overhanging roof on the outside, but when you're getting towards the highway, there's no lights over that way from what I remember. As for that property, the one at the top near the highway, which supposedly had CCTV surveillance cameras, but they weren't working at the time, how convenient. Did they have any motion lights? Because even motion lights would be really important. You might not be able to directly see or identify the person leaving or coming, but from a distance, if motion lights are activated, it detects movement by someone or an animal. So if you were on the front porch, but you got there too late after Noah already left, if you could see a motion light trigger in the distance, that could imply, oh, that must be Noah wandering off, or someone else. Little touches like that. Yeah, they claimed he went missing and wasn't found until he went missing. Noah claimed to have gone missing at 3:41 a.m. and then going onwards to 5:15 of when he was reported as dead by Jack. But at that time of 5:15, Jack did not report it to the authorities or the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. He just let the friends know at the house, which probably not the best order of things to do, I guess. But for Kaden Pressy to be alerted at 5:15, then as some minutes pass by, to go on down to the highway to see the body and identify that it's Noah and the black shorts, then for Kaden to shortly be told to leave and then go back to the party along with some of the guys he took, Kaden must have assumed that the police were already called. Because if they weren't, then Kaden probably would have called or said, did you call the police? Did you call someone? There must have been an authority or an authoritative figure there at the scene for Kaden to not, question and say, okay, Jack, you told us at 5:15, we've come on down here, where's your authority? Where's the police? Where's the paramedics? Where's anyone? Why have you not called them? Kaden never questioned that, nor questioned Jack. So I'm assuming that by the time Kaden got down there was already some kind of authoritative figure. And whilst, yes, in that hidden recorded footage, it supposedly portrays authoritative figures present, but there's some counterpoints as well in the background of people that have seen it, and there's a different story. A little bit messy, I'll be honest with you. So what's so significant about this? If we just use 3:41 a.m. as a solid point marker, because it was actually documented the time, the timestamp, the selfie of Jasmine announcing that Noah is missing, and other talk from the party goes that it was 3:30 when it happened and when he left. Give or take a little bit of delay, and then Jasmine announcing it on Snapchat. 3:41. 3:30. And yet, supposedly, social media, photos, videos were deleted or factory reset between 3 in the morning to 3:15 before Noah left the property. Bit weird, isn't it? Is it? Right, I'll be honest with you. The only thing I can think of, if it wasn't for the death of Noah Presgrove and everything went perfectly fine, was Monday morning the end of the party? Was it coming to an end regardless? Okay, 4-day party, finally reaches Labour Day, coming towards an end, start of a new week, need to sober up, need to get some sleep, need to clean up, and oh yeah, we need to clean up our devices as well, and we'll do it early, going into the early hours of the morning, so we don't forget about it later. You know, we've had drinks, underage drinking, those social laws or social host laws being broken. We've got firearms here as well whilst being drunk. Could get in trouble for that. So we need to clean ourselves up. We need to reset our phones. Would you have to reset your phones though? That seems a little bit drastic. When you reset it, I'm assuming you're going to lose just about everything. Do you lose your contacts, your phone numbers? You lose your media, data, maybe on your games, if you do have any installed on your device, your photos, your videos. Unless it's because there were so many photos or videos or dodgy text conversations that it would have taken too long to have deleted it manually. So they thought, oh, we'll just delete it all in bulk. But there is a feature where you can hold down on a photo, drag down and delete as many videos and pictures as you want very quickly. So it doesn't take that much effort. For a person to almost like wipe their phone clean, if it is truly a factory reset, they're trying to cleanse every bit of possible evidence. That is a bit suspicious. And who exactly did a factory reset? And how many of them did that, I wonder? And, you know, between 3 in the morning to 3:15, okay? A 15-minute time difference of when Kaden eventually went to sleep. 15 minutes later, assuming that still everyone else is awake, alert, and still at the party, which is likely the case. Noah, was Noah around at the time when other people started deleting the material and footage? So if that being the case, then there wouldn't be a direct correlation to the death of Noah Presgrove. If you're going to clean up and delete off evidence before the person's actually dead, then they must be deleting it for other reasons, and the contents that they're deleting or resetting on their phones are of another matter at hand, such as maybe drinking, maybe. Because if others started to go to sleep afterwards, they're probably thinking, right, we need to clean up now, or we need to get rid of some of the evidence, which doesn't link us to the death of Noah Presgrove, because at that time he's still alive, but in terms of the drinking, underage drinking, and in the possession of firearms, that could get us in trouble, so we need to eradicate all that. But at the end of the day, if it's not social media and it's just photos and videos on your phone, why would you need to delete that type of stuff if you haven't uploaded it public yet? Who else is going to know? The only time when you're going to start thinking I need to delete stuff, if it's just simply on your phone, privately, on your phone only. You only start thinking, oh, they're going to start checking my phones now, when there's a need to, when there's suspicion to. In general, like with a house, when there's a warrant to search for evidence, search for possessions. But that tends to be once a crime's been committed, once an accident has been reported, once there's been a death of somebody. And yet this type of stuff happened before the death of Noah Presgrove, unless the twist in all of this is, despite the timestamps given, it actually happened earlier on the death of Noah, around 3 a.m. to 3:15. If you was to try and force a link between factory resets of phones, media and footage, comparing it, linking it and applying to the death of Noah, cleaning up after themselves, and that would have been a very short space of time. And as well, it would have meant that likely on site, on property, in-house or just outside, and Kaden was there but didn't witness it because he was asleep. I think it's a bit too tight together, if I'm being honest with you. So I'm just going to give my closing thoughts on this because we have spent enough time on it already. I do apologise to people that have joined or watched for some time and wonder what's going on. The screen does move about, but I just really wanted to really zoom in, focus on this, right? Because it's kind of deep. So I'm thinking that, yeah, Noah may have well just left at 3:30 or roughly round that time. And the stuff that happened before it, in between 3 a.m. when Kaden said Noah was still awake and at the party in the kitchen with Jack and other partygoers. So Noah was at least alive and somewhat okay at 3 a.m. 15 minutes passed by, and in between that's when the factory reset of phones occur, which makes me think that likely Noah's still possibly alive and not dead just yet, but getting closer, edging. Not even left a party just yet because it's not reached 3:30. So whatever is deleted or removed might be to avoid getting in trouble with the police, any charges, hiding illegal stuff that they've done but not to do with the death of Noah, because that happened later. Interesting. But let me just mention one last thing. If people have been able to get away with stuff in the area, some of the partygoers or family members or friends of friends, because people who they know or in the family work in authoritative positions, and it being a small community, you can get away with things and not get in trouble. And that certain partygoers have had speeding tickets in the past but didn't have to pay for them, able to work about it. And others had deep pockets to maybe pay or silence other people off. Then really, you'd feel invincible, right? So if you feel invincible, and you feel you're above the law and you can get away with stuff, then why would you need to delete anything at all? Oh, you've been drinking and you're underage? So what? Oh, you had some firearms and you're drunk as well? Oh, big deal. I'm saying that from the point of view and perspective of people that may be invincible or feel untouchable. They've done bad things in the past to varying degrees, got away with it. Slap on the wrist, who cares? Others looking out for one another. So what'd be any different this time round if we're excluding the death situation of Noah Presgrove? You've been drinking, so what? Who's going to do anything about it? Are the police going to bother? If they didn't bother in the past, why would they now? And yet the partygoers, supposedly, or some, got rid of the media. There must have been a bit of uncertainty this time, a lack of confidence in feeling untouchable. Did they do worse? Did they do more? Makes you think. What else do we have? What's this one? There we go. This could be actually good. Yes. This is a good conversation to get on with. Oh my. I don't even know what I'm going to title this video. You know, I don't want it to be too general or vague, but some very interesting points. Tammy says, we all say we want justice for Noah. The reward money, I think, is only $7,000 to $8,000 so far. We should make it a lot higher. If we all could give a little $5 or $10 each, there's 5,000 members on his page and 22,000 on the other. Damn, that's a lot. That would add up fast, and I would think put more pressure for someone to come forward and tell the truth to what happened to Noah. Let's check the comments if possible. Why is your profile account completely barren of any information at all or pics, activity, etc.? Furthermore, who specifically is handling all this money coming in when Robin, Noah's aunt by marriage, and Ashley, some type of cousin of Noah's, are admins on the Justice page, yet expressed their dissatisfaction with this page during a previous full-load podcast? Oh, plus choose to not be members of this group when it went private. Ooh, hold on. Probably because it's a fake account just like yours. You have a lot of crap on your page, but no pictures of you or your family. I'm not related to Noah or his family, but I can guarantee you I'm 100% for justice for Noah. Although the clip you have of the boy home alone and heard someone upstairs was funny. Eh? Look again at my profile. You can see my B-Day, where I'm from. You can see the pages I follow in groups. I'm in stuff. I post ETC. Not saying you have personal pictures on your account, but you have absolutely no activity shown whatsoever. Like nothing. Nah. Got that wrong. Apologies about that. Looks like I was turning into a private investigator just then. Oops. But, it's a little showcase, right, during negativity. Change it up a little bit. Sometimes the way people talk, you can imagine their tone of voice, right? I needed to do my squeaky, high-pitched American accent, and finally I got to do it. Tammy, I'm just on here for Noah, wanting to help get to the truth of what happened to him that night. So really, this whole conversation diverted away from the whole bloody post. That was a great conversation, that. So, what are my thoughts on this? Well, providing that there is reward money and it's true and it's genuine and the family are aware of it, and it's around $8,000, and that the suggestion that maybe we need to up it a bit, get more in, so more people are likely to talk, possibly. I mean, the best way of looking at it, in a way, if supposedly the people who might be tied to the case directly or indirectly, who may be themselves well off or know people that are well off and they might be benefited anyway in the background, and like our talks have been mentioned about certain families and people having deep pockets full of money, then this reward money is peanuts to them, right? You can say everything's got a price, but with this, if they already have money, do they need any more when they probably can get it anyway in other means and activities and work, possibly? It's like with the Dylan Rounds case. Okay, limited because only one person knew, and that one person was responsible, James Brenner. There might be the exception of the other individual, but never came out. In the Dylan Rounds case, reward money at first, $25,000. Kurt Wadsworth took it upon himself as like opportunistic behaviour to report in on the news of Dylan Rounds being held hostage. False call, false lead, BS from his girlfriend's psychic, but delusional enough for fall for it. Psychics for you, at times. Didn't go anywhere, wasted time. More money, upped up with time. Candice Cooley wanted $50,000. Justin said, nah, we'll do $100,000. Did it lead to anything? Nope. Then Heavy D, Diesel Brothers came on in, doubled that amount, matched it. $200,000 or so, 200K. That's a lot, isn't it? 200,000. Did it lead to anything? Nope. That's it. Money withdrawn, returned back to the people, and just got on with things. And then eventually Brenner spoke 2 years later. Yeah, pretty much it. Do you honestly think, in this case with Noah Presgrove, that you up it to about 20,000, 30,000? Are people really going to talk when they're already well off, pockets deep, filled with money? They're not going to think, oh, look at that, get more money. We've already got enough. It won't be enough for him. If they've got what they want, they've already got enough in life or whatever, then this isn't going to entice them. And you can argue and say it's a shame that money has to come into things to get someone to talk. But it happens a lot in cases, doesn't it? But in general, anyone watching right now, out of all the cases you've looked at, missing persons, true crime, crossovers, mysteries, out of 100%, how many times has reward money led to a successful tip-off? How often do people react and come out with information when it comes to a tip-off, actual reward money? Because yes, it's seen as an incentive, but at the end of the day, ultimately, when it comes to cases out there, you got to understand how many people are responsible in the case, directly or indirectly. If there's only one person responsible, then really you're never going to get any information or tips, even if the money is increased to $1 million, $2 million. If that one person knows and only knows and no one else does, and that one person will never reveal because they're stubborn, they're awkward, or they're fine as they are and they don't need any money, then no matter what the reward money is, they will not come forwards. It will never be enough because they have enough. I don't know if I contradict myself there. I'm trying to think of some fancy sayings on the spot. But you get what I'm saying. The more people though that know, the higher the chances that maybe one person might be enticed by the reward money. But if those people in the background are being compensated by the others responsible, saying, you know what, yeah, you see that reward money, yeah, you could get it and you could reveal the truth, but how about we double it? How about we triple it in the background so you can keep your mouth shut? That could happen, right? Have I ever been paid off? Nope. Has anyone else been paid off? I don't know. Any of you watching, have you ever been in a case and some dodgy people have tried paying you off? Or, if not that, threatened to keep quiet? If you do want to share your experiences, and you can always leave it down below in the comment section. What else do we have? Warning, mentions of BLXXD. What does that mean? Heather Marie. Hold on. So I believe the medical examiner stated that Noah had lost 3 pints of blood by the time he was found. None of it was at the scene, so obviously he had to have lost that blood somewhere else before being in the spot he was found. I know everyone said the house smelled strongly of bleach. Everyone said the house smelled of bleach. Did Kaden Pressy say that himself as well? As said, we can say everyone said this, everyone said that, this person said this person said that. But if we can at least anchor down and focus on one name at a time and someone who's consistent that has said this and that and remained consistent, this would really help. So did Kaden Pressy say the house smelled of bleach? Because if so, there's a higher chances that that was the case. That's my way of working about things. Harris says, so why haven't investigators or anyone gone to the house with the equipment that is supposed to show if blood has been somewhere? Is it the blue light or something? Where you shine it about, UV light, one of which, and it shows possible blood splatters and stains, I think. Even after it's been cleaned. I think they'd have done that the first day, along with checking the entire property, because 3 pints is a pretty good amount of blood to lose. There'd be a lot more to clean up. They also have missed some. Well, this is the thing. There was no search warrant of the property or the surrounding land by it. Noah's body on the highway over there. Could it have traced back to the house? Absolutely, because that's where he was last seen, last heard of. That's where he was present in the actual footage. They may know something, what happened in that house for him to end up at the highway, right? But the police chose not to do that. Missed opportunity. So yeah, the house could have had potential evidence. There could have been something there. Not guaranteed, but there's always a small chance, and even the vehicles nearby. Yet, it wasn't taken upon full grasp opportunity because the police just didn't do it. What else do we have though? In fairness, because we need to acknowledge the other points because it was like ... That's why I clicked on more. So I would think they would have done it first day, along with checking the entire property. Yeah, they also could have missed them. I think they should check the house, the SSS, Jack Newton's truck, Caleb Newton's vehicles, etc. They should go to the lake and use magnet fishing to try to find those golf clubs and check them. They should get search warrants for the house and the whole property as well as Jack Newton's, Caleb Newton's houses, and maybe even Jack Newton's girlfriend's house car. I don't know if the blood would still show up given how much time has passed, but there's even a chance it could. That's what should be done. That's what I think at least. Well, what I would say is on the basis that at the beginning when it was fresh, when there would have been a need to, and formal procedure of it's just happened, investigations opened up the case, we need to work out things and trace our steps back to where he was last seen and if they weren't at the critical time when it was actually needed and when it should have been done, and normally it would be done, and they chose not to, what makes you think they're going to even bother now? I don't think they could be bothered unless they were forced to by some of the higher ups, unless the FBI somehow got in and said, right, you need to check. But realistically, if you think of DNA, right, just like with the Dylan Rounds case, once a certain amount of time has passed by, that DNA can wash away, can just be lost. There's like a time frame of DNA. It might differ due to the environment and conditions it's in, inside, outside, of course, and exposed to the terrain and the elements of weather. Maybe it's preserved longer in other areas than the likes of outside, but still, a fair bit of time's passed by now, and to do a search on a property, I think it would be too late. To do a search on a lake where items could have been disposed of, where there's no indication of where to start or which pond to look at if it's nearby. If you talk about a lake or river, Warwicker Bay, Warwicker Lake, you could try that, but where would you start, right? You need a starting point, you need a direction. This is why when it comes to evidence, no matter how small it is, direction-based evidence is very important. Okay, I introduced that term in the Dylan Rounds case. Direction-based evidence could be footprints, bloody footprints, muddy footprints, rags, pieces of breadcrumbs, literally, right? In which it follows a direction which you follow in, leads you to a new spot, new leads, branches off, or the spot. But the longer it's delayed and it's just fades away, makes it harder, right? I think in this case, though, there just wasn't direction-based evidence. Whilst the body at the highway, And where Noah was last seen was at the party house, point A to point B. He got from here to there, but maybe not by his own choice. Or that he got so far and then was taken out by someone or some people and then disposed of further up. To stage something or to make it look less suspicious out in the middle of nowhere rather than at a house full of people who could have been questioned and the property searched too. I get that. The lack of blood, fair enough, but unfortunately there was no blood found elsewhere. No attempts were done to try and find or trace that, or any other bits of chain or clothing, any bits of skin or DNA. Like, let's just say there was blood splatters or a blood trail which led from the highway down to the party house. Well, then obviously it's like sticking out like a sore thumb, right? Oh, what do you have here? But that wasn't the case. So certain stuff, you can't say it was a missed opportunity when it wasn't there to begin with. But the mystery of where did the rest of the blood go is interesting. The counterpoint, I believe, by mapping or map, the former coroner and forensic anthropologist said on Reddit that internal bleeding, it's absorbed, that those litres of blood were actually still, absorbed in the body or absorbed into something, and that's why it didn't leak out. But to be honest, I don't know. I mean, I've seen some injuries in some situations with people where they have bled out on the spot, and it's been quite a bit. And it didn't have to be a stabbing if a person was to jump off a building. And there might be exceptions, granted, okay. Hit the ground, boom, and then the blood started coming out. Maybe slow. Maybe it would come out faster if a person was stabbed because of the deepness of it, the incision as well. And depending where, on an artery, it's going to squirt out. More blunt force, internal bleeding, and maybe eventually finds a way to leak out of somewhere through the mouth, the nose, the ears, and in a way that was the case with Noah. Give or take enough time for him to bleed out completely, or as much as possible, I think there would have been more blood, okay? Because there was not much blood at all, just a little patch by the side of the road. And whilst we can question, well, where's the rest of the blood? And there's for and against arguments. My question is, why is there a patch of blood near to him? How did that end up there exactly? Did that come from Noah's body and ended up over there? But if it did, surely it would have leaked, trickled down and then collected in that spot, meaning there would have been traces of it trickling down if there was a bit of a gradient. You don't just get like a circular or a stained patch there and then a big gap in between the body and the spot of blood. It wasn't described as a splatter either. So how did that happen? That's what I want to know. What else do we have here? Or did I read most of it? Should have been, that's what I think. Okay, I've probably read all that. Exactly all of this, and this is exactly why we're where we are. My personal opinion, Ellie has dropped the ball on some of this, only to pick it back up when the national attention came around. Probably too late. Hopefully they will spend time getting this right and hopefully not be naive in what actually happened to Noah. In either scenario, there was a cover-up and it's still happening with disinformation, deflection, fake accounts, false accusations, false testimony, their testimony changing to all the evidence coming out. Never before did anyone say they went looking for Noah until the geofence came out and pinged a few phones. They've always claimed to be asleep all night, even told Ellie that. Now all of a sudden they were out looking for Noah, even right by him, but never found him. I don't think so too. Right, so when was this? Friday. So the story has now transpired, just recently, a few days ago, or are we still talking about the past? About how, 1 minute they're asleep and they're completely oblivious as to what's going on, such as Jack. Then they're awake, and then they're searching. Is this actually in correlation to the Sarah Long statement and Jasmine Milan, where they said, the night before Noah wandered off and then was found by friends and then returned back to the house? Then fast forward the next day, going into the early hours of the morning, I think, or the next day, which would have been Sunday, getting close to Monday, he left again, but for the very last time. If anyone can clarify that. I mean, that's how I saw it myself in my eyes. Right. Where can I find the geofence report? It's not released, just mentioned a few times, but that's my point. it was just mentioned, then several sleep partygoers all of a sudden wasn't asleep after all. Is this to do with what Kaden Pressy said himself at 3 a.m, where he said, I was going to sleep, but I could tell that everybody was awake around me? Is that the easiest way of putting it? Because Jack Newton, early days, because I saw the archived text message, Jack Newton saying, like around 2 a.m. in the morning, went to sleep and then overslept, fast forward onwards. And yet Kaden said, well, I went to sleep an hour later at 3 a.m, and Jack was still awake, never went to sleep before that, so that was a lie. So Kaden exposed Jack there, and I guess exposed the other people. Is that what we're referring to here? Because if so, it would have been easier just to say Kaden, right? What else? We don't know if luminol hasn't been used in the investigation. Everyone is waiting to see what will happen next in terms of justice. Also, the golf clubs were found at Caleb Newton's business as witnessed by Kaden, and one was bent. Oh, I don't remember hearing that. I thought they were missing and never found again. Let's just say though, wow, I never seen this picture. It makes me sad. I don't have a picture. I just know that Kaden's seen them there, and again, one was bent. Right. Do we have any add-ons from this? Because I don't remember hearing about it. So does anyone know that Ellie took the golf clubs since they've been located? If they have been found, you'd think Ellie has them and that they're running forensic testing on them to possibly find Noah's DNA on them and the DNA of the person or persons who was holding the other end. Now, the interesting thing is, I don't know how true this is. I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't know how true this is, because the last time I heard about golf clubs, and it was only like a couple of weeks ago, they were still missing. 1 minute they're there at the party. Dalen, I think, passed them on to Noah. Noah took them down to the party, and may have been a chance that they were going to be used, not for anything dodgy, but just to mess around with. And then after that, the golf clubs have gone missing and they've ended up elsewhere, and it's uncertain. And now it's been said that they've been found at Caleb Newton's business. Why would it be at Caleb Newton's business? And if they were murder weapons, why weren't they disposed of? You know, if people, well, I don't know if you'd say it's smart, but if people are on the spot and thinking of, we need to put the body here and stage it as if something else happened and whatnot. And if some of the people around there feel confident that, the police and certain authority figures have their back and they're invincible, then why would they need to worry too much about the golf clubs and just think, you know what, hey, police, you're there or you're here, you can take them, you dispose of them yourself, or can you give us the tips of where to take them? I wonder. Now, if anyone can confirm, reinforce, or even debunk this, you're welcome to do so down below. It's the first time I've heard about this, golf clubs. I mean, if they've been found and they're in possession of bloody Caleb Newton, is it Caleb Newton? Because I'm just going to be honest with you. Besides Caleb Newton and Jack Newton, there is another CN known as Colton. Colton Newton, the brother to Jack Newton. I just thought I'd put that out there because of initials can get mixed up. But I'm assuming because of a business, you think of being an adult, more experienced and more established, it'd probably Caleb Newton here. And for the golf clubs to end up in his possession, the reason why I find that interesting is because what about the pattern of theme of 7 in the morning when Jasmine Milan's mother, Renee Milan, came on down and decided to help clean up certain stuff and as well gather all the firearms up and then pass them on to Caleb Newton, supposedly. So Caleb Newton's getting everything, including a couple of teeth in the back pocket. Maybe not quite literally, but what has he not got? Is he like the little collector that goes about like the repo man? Oh, I'll take your hat, I'll take your buttons, I'll take your pants, I'll take your shorts, I'll take the bloody golf clubs, I'll take the penguins in the backyard, I'll take the camel as well round the back. I mean, what else does he have? I mean, bloody hell. So Caleb Newton was given the firearms, Caleb Newton given the golf clubs. Is this a case of him taking all the responsibility or something? I'm going to be honest with you. How it's worded here, it sounds like the bloody Dylan Rounds case all over again, where James Brenner, just after the police came on down, the search and rescue came on down, and the family, because of the disappearance of Dylan Rounds and possible foul play in the eyes of some early on, James Brenner not anticipating the fast response of people coming on down because it's a rural area, loose in Utah, away from civilization. And then James Brenner, first or second week, is like, oh shit, probably best move these firearms on. Even if the firearms weren't used, these ones directly in the death of Dylan Rounds. Even in the autopsy report back in 2024, April 9th onwards or so, it was said that Dylan Rounds was shot multiple times in the head. And in the time-lapse footage, which was retrieved November of 2022, 2022, I believe, it showed Brenner cleaning a firearm. Timestamp, 30-minute difference of when Dylan came on down and when he was killed. So that links to that. But really early on at the time when that unfolded and people didn't know about the time-lapse and people didn't know about the cause of death of Dylan Rounds or even where he was, but Brenner did because he was the one responsible. Brenner, at the time, decided to pass those firearms on because, he's already been in trouble in the past, a felon in possession of firearms, getting in trouble for that, didn't want any more charges because he would lose everything, it would be taken all away. So he decided to pass it on, like pass the parcel to his best friend, Don Hatley, who had to keep hold of them, and then eventually Don Hatley thought, I don't want to be dragged down with this, so decided to hand him in to the police, surrendered him in, did an interview with the FBI, grassed on Brenner, and then Brenner got in trouble there and taken in. That's how it all kicked off and collected. In this case, does it quite go to that extent? Maybe not, but in terms of passing on items, are you passing on the responsibility to others? I mean, I guess you can't say that Caleb Newton is the fall guy because he's not got in trouble, has he? And even in the past when he may have been caught up in other deaths of people, nothing went wrong there either, so he could be considered untouchable. Maybe because of the nature of being untouchable, it's like, okay, we'll give you this, we'll give you that item, you can have the murder weapons because we know you're not going to get in trouble, somehow you managed to get away with it, so there we go. These are just ideas, okay? And this is me basing it off what's said here is the truth. Not that it is 100%, but if it was, that's my chain of thought. I just hope there's some additional points, questions. But to say something about one of the clubs being bent, interesting. But you're saying that I don't have the picture, I just know that Kaden saw them. And there again was one bent. Right, witnessed by Kaden. How did Kaden witness it? Was Kaden at Caleb Newton's business at the time of coming across it? How and when and what and why? And Kaden said one of which was bent. Now, I'll do a separate video on the golf clubs. I might be a bit out of sync, I'll be honest with you. Might even get a screenshot right now just for the sake of it, because we can always use it as a comparison in the future. Anyone in the chat, anyone watching right now, are you aware of this? Because how it's worded here, it sounds like they've just been found. But when it comes to Kaden Pressy, I've not seen any new statements by him recently. So when did Kaden Pressy talk about it then? Did Kaden Pressy actually talk about it, really? Now, was it Kaden Pressy or was it the brother of Kaden Pressy who reached out to me on YouTube at one point? Well, if you are hanging about, if you do want to clear up any BS, you can do so down below in the comment section, right? I'm just simply absorbing what's been mentioned here, trying to make sense of it if it is the truth. If it's not the truth, well, that's a very, very disappointing situation. But if a golf club is bent and only one is bent, then you'd assume only one golf club was used in the killing of Noah Presgrove. And would one golf club be enough to cause all those injuries? Maybe, maybe not. So maybe other items were used as well, but by other people. So where did they end up then? That's why we can focus in, zero in on the golf clubs, but you got to look at other items of opportunity. And that's what I did when we saw that brick or that breeze block, whatever you want to call it. That was next to Brylan Sweat, just lying about loosely, if that may have been used. But why would a golf club break? I mean, if you got a quality golf club, you'd have to hit something with some force to cause the club to break or just bend at least. Hitting a solid object, hitting someone's skull and head, hard enough that it causes pretty much devastating damage to the body, to the head, and equally enough damage to cause breakage to the golf club, so it's rendered pointless, obsolete. And out of all the clubs which were used, which one was damaged? The 4-iron, the putter, the sand wedge? I can't remember what you call them, to be honest. I'm not a golfer. But is there any counterpoints there? So does anyone know if the LE took the golf clubs since they have been located? What about the DNA on them? And what else? Well stated, but I sincerely believe him. Realistically speaking, they all were intoxicated, I believe, a grand jury. So this person seems to be speaking on behalf of Kaden, with the fact that Kaden has attempted to contact Ellie on several occasions, They will not engage in conversations, nor will they call him back. The problem is that all the defendants... I just haven't seen Kaden mention about this at the golf club. It's weird. No, I doubt it. There's Caleb Newton related to Ellie. It's a complex weave. Right. Okay. The golf clubs were in a scrap pile at Caleb Newton's business. The scrap pile that Kaden Pressy and Jack Newton were hauling off for Caleb Newton. Scrap. Golf clubs could be deemed as scrap, but they were in decent condition. There'd be no need to get rid of them, considering they were of Noah's at the time in possession at the party, and before that were Dalen's, if that's how you say the name, the brother to Noah. So they shouldn't have been taking them away anyway. Even if they may have not been used in the murder of Noah Presgrove, let's just say that, there'd be no need to scrap them, get rid of them. I mean, if only 1 or 2 clubs was used, I'm surprised all of them were disposed of them. When I heard about it saying about the scrap pile at Caleb's business, I do remember the term scrap pile mentioned by Justin Roy in a past post. I never got round to it, but I think we're edging towards it. So maybe it makes more sense to me now. But I guess it's just because how it was worded by people, missing golf clubs. It was like it was never really resolved, but maybe it's making more sense to me now. Maybe some of you already know. I mean, I've got video ideas, I've got projects, list of them, I do it in a certain order. I was going to get around to the golf club situation anyway, I just needed to pick the right time, and maybe with this video right now, that's what we transition on to possibly tomorrow and look at it a little bit closer. I mean, does anyone have the coordinates, the location of Caleb Newton's scrap business? If anyone has it, and it's of public information, feel free to leave it down below. I can always do a map analysis. So let me know. What else? No disrespect intended, because the focus will always remain on justice for Noah. You're expending too much energy to establish a point. I'm not here for a debate or ongoing battle. Wait, who's this I'm going to go at? I don't know. Painkillers? What? Right, I don't know what's going on there. Well, Kaden Pressy stated 5:15 in the morning. He looked at his phone. I'm sure he took his phone with him when they all went to see Noah. His phone might have pinged as well. That'd be proof of that time. What time? Golf clubs haven't been located. Where did you get that? They were. Pam? So have you seen where Kaden Pressy said this? Because I can't find it anywhere. That Kaden Pressy stated he saw the clubs and they hauled them away. Yeah, I was hoping for a counterpoint possibly, right? What do we have here? Remember what Jack Newton said? I found him. He died at 4 a.m. Caden's phone would have pinged after 5:15. Also when Jack Newton arrived. He told the driver that discovered Noah who it was. Not one time has Jack Newton told us that he tried to revive Noah. Not one time did he stay. I mean, what the hell's that all about there? Can I zoom in? Bloody hell, it's not exactly clear, is it? Told you earlier I would explain my day to you later and we'll try to explain... I don't know, it's bollocks. Shame it's not clear enough, the context. Once again, that's all. Biased judge. Right. Confused. What's the case been? Yeah, it seems to be a bit of confusion with the golf clubs, to be honest. But Kaden Pressy seen them after the party a few days later whilst working with Jack, so he wasn't intoxicated when he saw them. Okay, right. So we can say we can say that Kaden saw them, right? Where's the actual source of Kaden saying it? Where's the post? Where's the comment of him saying what he saw? I don't see it right now. Why has no one provided any screenshots? He has his phone records and GPS location. Yeah, but I want to know about the golf clubs. Right, saw a comment a month ago or longer. Someone said they could tell CPR wasn't done. I mean, like, depending how intense it is, sometimes CPR can lead to the ribs breaking if you do it for too long and you do it too hard. The comments and post brings out more information as two-party weekends. Oh yeah, 2 party weekends in a row after your friend died the weekend before. I couldn't do it. Right, once again, that's been talked about. Do we have proof of a second party occurring the weekend after, or back to back, however you want to call it? Is the photos, are the videos, are the text messages, is a social media post, right? There's a lot of talk going on, but there's not enough material to back it up with. And whilst, yes, I might be a bit late to the party, no pun intended, I do try and provide screenshots as I go along. I mean, like right now, what I'm reading out is straight from the horse's mouth of people of what they've got to say, their ideas, their theories, or what they claim to know from where they've got info from elsewhere, but they don't back it up themselves. That's not a criticism, that's just an observation and me being realistic. You see, when I zero in on the text messages of what he said, she said, I do show them in my video, right? I might not show everything, I might not get a hold of everything, but at least try to. When there's a lot of loose talk online, and some of it could well be the truth, it's just a shame that there isn't context given, like a link to this or a link to a screenshot. Sometimes it happens, but mostly it doesn't. And whilst people on the inside, such as in a group and community that have been around for quite some time, they can make references, they can cut round corners and use abbreviations because they know one another and they've seen it together collectively in the past. As for the newer viewer that comes on in, that sees it, almost alienated. What the hell's going on? That's why sometimes Reddit is a good place where people repost stuff. You know, content, archived, text messages, with a caption, with a title, with a subheading. It really does help. And then the comment section below it, with additional links if needed. On Facebook, it doesn't seem to be as organised. That might be just the platform itself. Facebook makes it hard. But what else? Clubs were found at scrapyard by a certain individual. This was days after Noah died, before Noah's brother was asking about them, supposedly. But do we have screenshots of the text, of the conversation, of the person who saw them confirming to see them? Because not at one point have I seen them yet. I mean, I did save a post on Facebook. There's a very small chance it could be mentioned there. I wonder. I'll get to it then. Right, because I'm sure some people will want this clearing up, so it's easier to understand. I was going to include it in the title of my video, this about golf clubs, but I think it deserves a separate standalone video. I saw his mum post something about it as well as Kaden Pressy. It's definitely a fact that the golf clubs were in a scrap pile. It's a fact, but you can't show the proof or evidence. That's a problem. Let's leave it there. Don't worry, I'll try and fetch it and retrieve it myself like a little peasant that I am. Only joking. What else do we have? Who's the guy in the white shirt in the background? Looks like an older adult. Right, so, yeah, to be honest, if you didn't know, and I don't know if it will let me load, this screenshot, which has been posted on Facebook, is actually from my video because my brand, my logo brand, bottom right corner of the screen is there. No mention to Warlike Wrath though, which is a bit disappointing, but don't worry, I will fill it in myself. I will give the credit. Well done, Warlike Wrath. Credit to you, Warlike Wrath. Thank you very much. But anyway, basically the context here is more so of the guy with that whitish coloured shirt on. But the context and where it came from on my channel wasn't long ago when I called my video The Mysterious Shed, where it appears to be open in the background and obviously used at the party at some point. Does it correlate with the death, disappearance, temporarily, of Noah Presgrove? Who knows? It was open and closed like a suitcase, I mean. Oops. So, you know, possibilities. And it's not been talked about much at all. It's never been really referred to. I thought, you know, I'll just add it into the conversation, the flow, and some people were interested by it. But in the process of zooming on in, the odd person commented on my channel saying that, oh, the people that you see in the background here are some of the Texas boys. So whilst the names haven't been given, the title Texas boys, the uninvited guest that came along of friends of friends that decided to invite them, they're supposedly Texas boys. The one to the right, though, looks a bit like Isaac. Could be wrong, but yeah. The one on the right next to and it's hard to see, but I think that might be Avery or Carter Cones that ploughed through like a cardboard box or something. On the right in the blue shorts or trousers would either be Jack Newton or Brylan Sweat. I'm thinking more on the lines of Jack Newton because of those coloured shorts at the same time of when Noah Presgrove was slapped with the black shorts. Can I get out of this? Oh no, it won't let me out. Let me out, let me go. How do I get out? There we go. I was almost trapped. Do you have any context here? From my understanding, the Texas boys were not much older than Noah, and that they have been cleared. They've been cleared, yet Jack Newton had a bit of a fixation on them possibly being responsible. Interesting. They were friends of Avery Combs, and she's 22. Oh, so are we actually saying that Avery Combs had a party with friends of her own age? So I'm thinking they were around the same age. Jack Newton did say they were friends of a friend, which I'm going to assume he was talking about Avery Combs. But this way it doesn't make sense. Right, who's got the final say in who comes to the party? Because we've been talking about other people attended the party who weren't invited in the first place. And if Avery Combs is the birthday girl and the birthday planner who has the final say in buying alcohol and supplying it to whoever, and as well inviting people, because normally when you're the birthday person, you tend to have the final say in who do you want at your party? Who do you want to come on down? And what Avery Combs is like, you know what? I'm going to invite everyone except my real friends, but they can come along and tag along by some of the friends that I invited who are of a younger age. That's like how it comes across. That's why it's a bit dodgy how it's been worded here. Friends of that family don't mean anything. They sure got cleared fast along with everyone in the crime scene. Still ongoing investigation by his brother and his aunt Robin, so I'm not sure why you think they all got cleared. I don't know for sure that Texas boys got cleared. It was just mentioned in this group that they did. So just because it was mentioned in this group, that means it's a fact. Oh, no. Language. Wording. Such hush-hush, and they're running around. Free, no worries. And the world looks pretty clear to me. I live here and family, nothing. Yes, I did, and I posted it in a thread where the actual video was shared about 4 days after the party, and so far no one knows who it is. This sort of looks like the same bodybuilding frame and same bluish ball cap worn in both pictures. One in shorts, one in jeans and a belt. But both these photos are from the party, I believe. Allegedly the Texas boys. Right. White shirts younger. Okay. Keeping in mind this was Saturday, not Sunday. This guy could have been there Sunday as well. Wait. Okay. Okay, that's fair. That's fair what Tiffany says, because that footage of where we see that person plough through, that must have been the same night as when Noah was wearing those khaki beige shorts when he got slapped by Shandy. So that on Sunday, when Noah got slapped again, it was by Brylan Sweat when he was wearing the black shorts, if I'm correct. These two pictures, one in white t-shirt, one in two shirts. These two photos look adult. Okay, and then what's this one? Yeah. This guy is a grown man, but no adults at the party. I call BS. Very good picture. I posted a man or team that looks a lot older in a white t-shirt. Could be same person, just different top or colour. Will it let me on? Yeah. Anonymous member, was this at the party house? So was it actually confirmed that it was actually at the party house? I don't know. And was it at the time though of the party on the day? Yeah, that person does look a lot older, but sometimes looks can be deceiving. Let's not go too deep down that just yet. Because material, photos and stuff can be gathered, which could be of a party, could be of a people or group that looks similar, but it might not be anything to do with the actual party itself. It could be another one elsewhere at a different time. Who knows? But these photos, what we look at on screen right now, are of the actual party. Especially those guys in the background, which I zoomed in on too, credit to me and my screenshot. Supposedly, potentially Texas boys. Have all the main players gone missing in action and completely silent? At first, they all had lots to say, but I haven't seen any comments from them in a couple of weeks. You think they maybe find their attorneys? Finally told them to shut up? Is the family involved in this page? only his siblings, Dalen, the brother, and Madison, the sister. I think Robin replied to me a couple of times here. I think that's because I tagged her. I'm on their page, but I don't follow or comment on it. I try not to anyway. I know they have a busy life. I know Robin said she can't answer everything at once. They were in here when it was public, but not now. Interesting. Robin, who is Noah's aunt by marriage, and Ashley, who is some kind of cousin, and admins of Justice Page, but not members of this group. The key suspect, like Newtons, etc., are all members of the Justice Page, not here. Quite an interesting divide. Really? Are the Newtons actually a part of the other page, the official one, which is all about the truth? That sounds a bit weird, because if you do have certain people within the case that are all about spreading misinformation, or more so disinformation, and have wreaked havoc and caused trouble here on this page before it went private, but they're also members on the other page, the official one, which is all about the truth and reliability and consistency, and it's heavily moderated, yet they're on good behaviour over there? Or is it just because they're on a leash, like a naughty boy or naughty dog? But they're whipped into place by the moderators and the family of Noah Presgrove, so they won't do anything bad or say anything bad. But for them to be over there, supposedly, and if they still are, they're just lurking about, listening in, just to see the latest news and scoop. Whilst it's a public page over there, there's more limitations and restrictions to what you can post and, I guess, talk about. So if people wanted to act out those within the case, they wouldn't be able to over there, but they do have more access and ease of it because it's public at least, so they can just listen in. That's very interesting, if it's true. None of the key players are members of this group, is what she's saying. You people can continue... Oh, what's going on here? You people can continue to laugh at me all you want because of my comment, but I don't understand what the relevance is. What are y'all trying to say? Clearly, you're saying that they're on that page, but not this one. But what's your point? The family is running the other page. I'm sure they care more about what is being said on that one, which is why I'm trying to figure out where the relevance is to the comment. And y'all trying to insinuate something, I'm just trying to understand. I was not trying to insinuate anything about the family. I was only curious if they were involved on this page, their victims as well. What? Wait. I don't know if I can remember correctly, but I could be wrong. Didn't I do a post about cancerous humans? And that profile picture looks very familiar. Was it Amanda who was whinging and whining about Warlight Ref? Or is it just a similar profile picture of another person? Could be, but you never know. But Amanda is saying that they're all victims. What? Those within the case, the partygoers. I believe what she meant by quite an interesting divide is because most people believe the friends, also known as key players, were involved in hiding evidence. I don't think anyone was laughing at you. I hope this. Right, so it's just basically complaining. I think they're blocked on here. They never joined. So when it went private, they weren't in here anymore. Also, fake profiles have been removed as well and blocked. I think the case has been talked about to the max. Chris Minto. I think Chris Minto and Amanda were the people complaining. I think. It's just the names look familiar to what I saw recently in a post that I did myself, defending myself. And this is the thing. Just because I say I think, just because I say, could be, may not be. And yet humans still get triggered by it. I still remembered that day in the Dylan Rounds case, the dogged nature in humans barking their orders. Silence, cretins, calm down. The cowboys in town. What are we doing? Let's leave that. Oh, someone did a face palm. I mean, to say that, the people within the case, the ones that were threatening, the ones that were all gob, all talk at some point, very certain about this was that caused this. Stevie Howard threatening people left, right and centre. At one point, Colton Newton doing the same thing to someone. Stevie Howard delusional or truly convinced or convincing herself or others that it was a hit and run. All that gobbiness and talk, it's kind of whittled down with time. And to be honest, quite a few of the texts or posts that I looked at were probably reposted and were what, April 2024, May, March, things like that. So it might not be as recent as you think. I can't remember exactly when this page went private, but why would it have stopped people, you know, the key players? They're so determined to spread confusion and to alter the case. Why would they step away from this when it becomes private? Is it just because they know that they can't convince and pull the wool over other people's eyes to say this is what happened? And what do we have here? One last thing before we finish. Okay, and this is Heather. Just want to watch this video. It's a tarot reading about Noah Presgrove. I usually have logical reasons not to believe a lot of the people who claim to be mediums and the like, even though I'm a believer it does exist. I just think most people fake it, but in my opinion, she is one of only 2 people I've actually believed completely. That being said, here's what I think could have happened based on what I've read and heard in the past month or 2. Oh God, I hope this is not a long one. Oh, do you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I think I'll leave that for now. I think I've done enough reading. I've done enough reading. But what's this? Well, they weren't parents that lived at the party house. It was Avery Combs and Carter Combs that lived there. Also, there is a video somewhere of them screaming at each other on the porch. Is that relevant to the party then? But I've also read in a comment somewhere that AC's mom lived there and it was her house, but I guess that was incorrect. But I heard it was worded at some point that the mother lived down the road at the trailer, up to a certain point. She used to live on that land. What, Stevie Howard? We were and still wanting charges pressed on how Avery Combs for social hosting. Okay. Well, we can always go back to some of this, possibly. Right, we'll leave it there for now. So, some heavy discussions today, a little catch-up session on Facebook to understand it. I think Justin Roy's post and questions were maybe the highlight of the discussions today, maybe the title as well, influenced by it. I'll make it somewhat relevant, so it's easy to find, and hopefully you found this video of some form of interest to you. Feel free to like and share the video so more people hear about it. If you want to keep up to date with my coverage, you can always subscribe to the channel where the button is down below. And of course, make sure the notifications are all turned on to make sure that it works accordingly, because obviously YouTube can be a bit dodgy at times. Appreciate people's patience in watching along and answering questions along the way, and you know, everything. Good behaviour, not in a patronising way, but good behaviour. Good people present, and that's all fine. You know, maybe elsewhere it can be messy, but here, all under control, and it will remain under control. We'll leave it for now, but I am tempted to look at the golf clubs, the next video that I make. I've done the odd Jay Slater video here and there. We'll see how the last one goes. If it works, if there's like a hint, like a direction that I'm doing something right, then I'll keep up with it or do a little bit more, but still the focus is on Noah Presgrove. I don't know if other people feel like going around in circles, but I'm not bored yet. I'm fine as it is. I might actually do a standalone one-on-one personal video where I talk about the resistance and how do I deal with it, or how do I feel, how do I react about it. It might not be to everyone's interest, but it can always be a little one shoved in between throughout one of the days some of the time, and yeah. But we'll leave it there for now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye for now.